guys, I wanted to hop on here real quick and just go over some best practices if you're trying to use our system to sell real estate, but specifically for circle prospecting. So we do have a lead store that includes our product called AgentCircle Prospecting, and it is a great tool. It's super easy to use, and it basically just lets you select an address and then a radius around that address so that you can get all the homeowner data within that radius. And it's really good for promoting like your just listed properties, just sold properties, your open houses. Those are really great ways to use this tool. And I'm going to show you real quick how to use it. So we're going to share the screen here. All right, so this is the dashboard of our AgentCircle Prospecting platform. So you would put in an address here. We'll say, we'll use our company address here, 130 Tibet Avenue. That's not how you spell Savannah, Savannah, Georgia. Okay, so this little map pops up. You see you have a pinpoint, and right here it says that it's currently putting in a half-mile radius. Now you can either select one of these, 1 mile, 1.5 miles, 2 miles, 3 miles, or you could put in your own. We'll say 5 miles, and that expands your radius. Okay, so then you would simply export CSV. You'll click this button here. That's going to download your list. It has all the homeowner data in it that you're looking for. And once that is completed, we will then come over to our ProspectBoss system. So this is the dashboard. This is the dashboard for your dialer CRM. And what you would do is you would go into calling campaigns in your menu over here on the left-hand side. You would click it and you would select create campaign. Now we would put this in as circle prospecting video. If you wanted it under a different like nest it under a different folder, you'd select that here. Your country, the only options we have right now are United States and Canada. You can select a disposition folder if you want all of them to, if you want, these are the options that your dispositions are going to give you. And then you select if you want a dynamic script. Now, dynamic script is a really great thing to use because it allows you to change what you're seeing on your screen for your script based on what your prospects are saying. So say you've got a question that you ask and then they say yes, and they give an explanation. Well, you can click yes as their answer, and it will pull up the next part of your script that you're supposed to say based on that answer. Or you can select a static script, which is just your full script and it doesn't move. Import contact list. This is where you're going to import that CSV file. So you'll hit browse. You will, it'll come up to your downloads, excuse me, and you'll select your CSV. And you will select next step at the bottom. These are default settings for your calls. You've got your on-hold recordings. Now, I'm a female, so I would want female on-hold recordings. And this is for if you are using like a 3 or a 4-line dialer and you've got, it has dialed 3 numbers and one person answers, one goes to voicemail, and then the third person also answers. So you've got 2 people from that dialing spot that need to be spoken to. So these on-hold recordings basically let them know it's kind of a diversion. you know, and the very last recording, it tries to give you time to finish up that initial call so that you can step on over to the other one. But the very last recording says, let me call you right back. And so at that point, when you're off the initial call, the system will stop dialing. It will not dial another 3 numbers. It allows you to go back and dial that number back so that you can speak with them. And it keeps you, you know, kind of a person of your word. So they already have a positive opinion or outlook of, you know, assumption of you. These are some settings, some call settings. You can use local presence. So if you're calling a different area code, you can select local presence so that it assigns a number with that area code, so they're more likely to pick up. Or you can use your PB number, which you're automatically assigned when you start up a dialer seat, or you can enter your own caller ID number. So you can put in here so that people can call you back. You can select how many times you want the phone to ring each number before it ends. This is how many line numbers that you're dialing at a time. So you can dial 4 or 3 or 2 or 1. It doesn't matter, whatever you're comfortable with. That is what you want to select. Enable video call. We do have video calling available as a feature. You just have to enable it or not enable it. Auto pause means that at the end of it dialing your first 3 numbers, it will pause so that you can kind of catch your breath, get caught up, and then you can select to, okay, dial those next 3 numbers. Enable recording. We always suggest or recommend that you record your calls because you never know when you're going to need them. But the most basic reason is, you know, if you're training a new agent, you can record their calls, or you can have them listen to recorded calls that have already been done. Time zone protection is if you are on the East Coast and you are calling numbers on the West Coast, they're 4 hours behind. So you don't want to be starting your calls at 9 a.m. on the East Coast, but it's 5 a.m. on the West Coast. That's not an okay time to be calling people. So you want to make you want to make sure that you have enabled your time zone protection. Send appointment. You can send them, you know, a way for them to schedule an appointment with you. You can include Trulia search or Zillow search. All right, next step, send mail. So we recommend that if you are on the phone with someone and you're dialing someone and you leave a voicemail, you can set this email setting to automatically send an email, and it will be one that you've already typed up. It's going to be one that you've already set in the system. It'll be sent automatically. So you'll drop that voicemail and then it will immediately send an email. And one thing that we say is if you are utilizing this feature, because this is a fantastic way to utilize, you know, all of the automations. If you're doing this together, you want to change, or you want to include your subject line needs to say something along the lines of, I just left you a voicemail, and I wanted to follow that up with this email. Something along those lines, so that it makes them a cohesive pair set of marketing. Okay, so you want to just make sure that they can connect those two. And then send text. It doesn't work exactly the same way. You can select to send a text. That only works on mobile numbers. But to send text messages, it's not an automatic, you know, if you send a voicemail, you can automatically set it to send a text. It doesn't do that yet. We are working on that being a possibility, but right now it is just going to be, you can click the button to send a text to individual contacts manually. Okay, so the last step is formatting your contacts. So in the CSV file that you uploaded, you're going to have that's not how that was supposed to be. We're going to go back to the very beginning, and I'm going to upload a new CSV file. Okay, all of this is going to stay the same. Here we go. Okay, these are the options that you should have in your CSV file. So when you're formatting your list, your contacts, you've got all of these are your basic categories, okay? First name, you are going to match that with FN for first name. Last name is going to be the same. It's going to be LN for last name. Full name is generally not something that you get, so we're not going to do that. Primary phone is going to be phone. Okay, alternate phone 1, you can scroll all the way down because I believe cell phone is all the way here at the end. Address, you're going to select address, city, state, and you are just matching up these categories. Zip, date of birth is one that a lot of people like to use. Now for ACP, and so doing FSBOs and expireds, or you know, just kind of getting out your just listed, just sold properties, date of birth might not be something that you need. However, you might want credit range. So this is actually a custom field. So we can change that to credit range, or you could select homeowner status. There's credit range. Add a custom field. You might want the homeowner status, and then you would select that. Okay, so these are all the categories that are going to populate for your contacts. So we'll submit that. And then it'll say campaign created successfully. All right, so then you go to My Campaigns, back over on the menu to the side. And we've got, this is the campaign we just created. Okay, now we want to look at these contacts. So we're going to click on the number of contacts, and it's going to show us these are our contacts. Okay, so then you can click on just any contact. Okay, click on the contact. Here's all the information that you entered. You can select whether they're male or female. This is their phone number. This is their address. Custom fields, homeowner status. If it has it, it would be displayed here. Now, something we want to talk about are best practices for dispositions. So we've got some things that a way that you use, like the hot, warm, cold lead disposition. Use the cold lead disposition as a not interested. So if they say they're not interested, they're a cold lead. So you would disposition them as such, and then you can create a separate campaign for your cold leads. Maybe put them on an email drip or a texting drip, or maybe just another calling campaign that you're going to do in, say, 3 months from now. You'll call back your cold leads and see if any of them have changed their mind. Warm lead. For real estate, we generally say that that might be something like they're ready in the next 3 months. They're ready to move, they're ready to sell, they're ready to buy within the next 3 months. Hot lead is they're ready now, or within a month, they're ready to get going. So, you know, with the cold leads, if you're wanting to be an aggressive salesperson and you're wanting to really make sure that you're making the most of every lead, every contact that you have, you're going to want to put them in another campaign so that you can keep following up with them. Never just let them go unless they are, you know, truly just angry and say, never call me again. That might be a little bit different, but don't just let them go just because they're not interested or they were busy at that moment. Make sure that you're following up. You also want to make sure that with your follow-up, you're doing this consistently. So, and maybe it's not just, you know, in 3 weeks when you send them an email. You want to do it continuously, you know, very kind of close together. So call them today. If they don't answer, maybe send them an email. And then in 2 or 3 days, send them a text. And then 2 days later, you know, maybe try calling them again. Make sure that you're making all of those touches, because we know from research that it takes between 5 and 12 touches to even get an agreement to meet with you. That's the sweet spot of getting a meeting, getting an appointment, getting an agreement signed. So you want to make sure that you are doing all of those touches. Utilize the whole system. We've created all of this so that it is easy and simple and all in one spot. So just make sure that you're utilizing your follow-up. Another thing that we wanted to let you know about for real estate, right now we have our Ava bot. And this is for, it's basically chat settings. So, and it's an automatic engagement with potential clients. So say they text you and they're wanting some information. So then Ava will contact them. They'll connect with them. Ava will engage with them. It'll ask questions. It will answer questions based on what your prospect puts in there. It will set an appointment for you so that you can then call that contact, text that contact, whatever, you know, however they prefer to be contacted, but so that you can take that over and then close that deal. It's a really great way to, you know, rein in some quality leads there. It'll, you know, Ava will engage, qualify, and set appointments. So it's a really great tool. You can check out the pricing. It is right now it's $3 per engagement. And now one thing I want to let you know, an engagement is not every single text back and forth. It is the initial time that Ava engages with that prospect. that is what you get charged for. It is not every time they send a message back and forth. Okay, so just that first initial contact, that is what you get charged for. So if you purchase 50 engagements, that's 50 people that Ava can engage, qualify, and set appointments with. So just, something to keep in mind. I'll wrap it up now. If you have any questions, go to prospectboss.com.